After I uploaded my video about how I passed topic level 6 in just 2 months, I started getting plenty of comments and messages asking for a detailed study plan. And I quickly realized something. People just like me rarely prepare in advance. Most of us only begin studying when there is a month and a half, maybe 2 months left before the exam, and that's totally normal. So in this video, I won't talk about preparing over half a year. I'm going to focus on a study plan designed specifically for 2 months of preparation. Of course, your results will depend on your starting level. If you're just beginning to learn Korean, reaching level 6 in 2 months is highly unlikely. Even for me, I didn't start from scratch. I had taken online mock tests in advance, and based on those, I was already at about level 4. I could read, understand spoken Korean, and had a basic vocabulary. But even if you are currently at a beginner or intermediate level, it's still possible to reach level 3 or 4 within 2 months, as long as you structure your study time properly. So in this video, I will show you how many points you need to reach each level from Samgup to Yukgup. Which sections, reading, listening, writing, are easier to score high in? How to structure your prep over 2 months? And which strategies and shortcuts help me get the most of those 60 days? My approach, why I focused on real tests. I know that many people prefer to prepare for topic in separate blocks. They study grammar using textbooks, memorize vocabulary from word lists, and only later begin practicing with real test materials. But I took a different approach. I had only 2 months, so I asked myself, why study the theory separately when I can immediately start working with the actual format of the exam? In every question, you already encounter real vocabulary, grammar patterns, and reading structures. This way, you are not just studying, you are immediately training your brain to adapt to the exam format. And for me personally, that worked perfectly. That's why I strongly recommend using past topic tests as your main study material. Official score requirements, what it takes to pass. Now let's break down how many points you actually need to get each topic level. This is based on official topic scoring criteria, and here's what it looks like. For level 3, the minimum score you need is 120 points. For level 4, 150 points. For level 5, 190 points, and for level 6 you need at least 230 points. But just knowing the required score isn't enough. It's also important to understand which sections are easier to gain points in and which ones tend to pull your score down. To figure this out, I analyzed the average results from 4 recent Topic 2 exams, and here's what I found. As you can see, the highest scores are in the listening section, with an average of nearly 60 points. Reading also performs well. The average score is about 55, but writing is the hardest part. The average score is only 36. This means that even people who reach level 5 or 6 often struggle with Segi and only pass thanks to strong scores in listening and reading. So the smart strategy is this. Make listening and reading your top priority. Get as many points as you can from those two. And train writing just enough so it doesn't ruin your total score. It should at least give you a few extra points. Next, I'll show you how many points you actually need to score in each section to get level 3, 4, 5, or 6, and how to prepare for that strategically. Now let's break it down. How many points do you need to score in each section, listening, reading, and writing, to reach your target level? I've calculated sample combinations based on the average results I showed earlier. Of course, these numbers aren't strict rules, they are reference points to help you build your own strategy. For example, To reach at least level 3, you would need around 24-25 correct answers in the listening section, about 22 correct in reading section, and a solid performance in writing at least 89 points. Now, if you are aiming for level 6, you'll need to get at least 46 correct answers out of 50 in listening. That's almost perfect. Ideally, yes. Aim to get as many correct as possible across all sections. But even if you make mistakes, a smart strategy can help you make up for them in other parts of the test. So now that you know how many points you need, let's talk about how to prepare for that. I'm going to show you a full 2-month study plan broken down by level. So think about this. What level are you aiming for? 3, 4, 5, or 6. Let's go step by step. This study plan is designed for an intensive 2 months preparation for the TOPIK II exam, but let me be clear from the start. This is not a beginner level plan. It's meant for those who already know how to read and write in Korean, who understand basic grammar, and who have a vocabulary level of at least A2 to B1. Because let's be honest, if you are watching this video, it probably means your TOPIK exam is just around the corner and there is no time to go back and build the absolute basics. That's why in this video I'm going to show you a combined study plan for levels 3 and 4 with a strong focus on real test practice, high-frequency vocabulary, and strategic preparation. Now let me explain exactly how this study plan is structured. Each week consists of 7 days, and I always dedicate 1 day to rest to avoid burnout and give myself space to recharge. But the first and fourth day of each week, Monday and Thursday, are mock test days. On these days, you take one of the past TOPIK exams. I understand that some of you may never have done a full test before, so it might be hard to finish everything from the start, and that's completely normal. Your goal on these days is to focus on the first 30 questions in listening and reading, because these are the ones that show up often at levels 3 and 4, and they are the ones that usually bring in the majority of your points. On these days, Monday and Thursday, you'll spend around 3 hours working with the past TOPIK test. Here's how that time is structured. Here's how your 3-hour study session will look on mock test days. First, take the test. Start by trying to complete the first 30 questions in both listening and reading. And ideally, if you are able, try going through all 50 questions within the official time limit. This will help you get used to the actual exam conditions. Reading quickly, not getting stuck on difficult questions, and staying within strict time limits. Analyze your results. Next, go back through the test and figure out what went well and what didn't. Ask yourself, which types of questions were clear? Where did I lose time? Which questions need extra practice? This gives you a clear focus for the rest of the week. 3. Vocabulary and grammar. Take note of any vocabulary or grammar structures that were unfamiliar or confusing. Write them down in a separate list. Later, you'll review them using apps like Quizlet or Anki. Writing sections, question 51 and 52. Don't skip the writing section. Open tasks 51 and 52. These are short texts with missing words. Even if you are not confident writing yet, at least read through the prompt, translate the text, and try to fill in the blanks on your own. The writing section is limited to 50 minutes, so use this time to stay within the time limit, understand what the task is asking, and if possible, write your own answers. In the remaining time, go back and analyze the parts you didn't understand, use a translator if you need, and write down any words you came across. Now let's talk about the most productive days, day 2 and day 5 of the week. These are your deep dive days for listening and reading, but it's not just read and listen. These days are all about analyzing what you've already tried in your mock test. Once you've gone through the test, you come back to it, this time with the correct answers, which you can download from topicguide.com. For the reading section, 읽기. Take one question, for example, question 1. Look at all 4 answer choices. Analyze the grammar in each of them, not just the correct one. Figure out why the correct answer is correct, and then go through the wrong answers. Understand why they are wrong. Why? Because grammar structures from incorrect answers often reappear in other test questions. You can use websites like howtostudykorean.com or short YouTube videos to quickly refresh the grammar patterns. Another key part of these days is learning to identify questions types in the test. Grammar gut feel. Choose the correct expression. Topic matching, like figuring out what kind of ad it is. Keyword identification in answer options. And here's something important. Don't skip over the wrong answers, because the same phrases and choices reappear in future questions. Speaking of vocabulary, stop learning words like chair, table, apple on their own, instead of always learn them in context. To sit on a chair, to get up from a chair, to take a book, to buy a book, to drink apple juice. This saves you so much time, and it builds a vocabulary that's actually usable and functional in real sentences. Here is a great tip for reviewing words during the day. Whenever you are on public transport, waiting in line, or just have 10 free minutes, use flashcards app like Quizlet. In those apps, you can create your own cards, word plus phrase plus exam sentence. The app will quiz you by showing cards in random order and check your memory. Other free options include Anki, very popular among language learners, available on web and mobile. Memorize, great if you like gamified learning. The most important thing is to create your own flashcards, not just use someone else's. Because when you personally enter the word, choose the example, or write the context, you are already learning as you build. For the listening section, 듣기, use topicguide.com, and they have downloadable audio files and transcripts. First, listen to the audio without reading the script. Try to catch familiar words. Then, read the transcript and compare with what you heard. Pay attention to how words are pronounced, the rhythm, the pauses, and the intonation. Then go back to the questions and try to choose the correct answer and explain why. Important, focus especially on the first 30 questions. They're simpler and they often make or break your score for level 3 or 4. That's why on Tuesdays and Fridays we go in on listening and reading. This is where you can gain the most stable points. One note about materials and how to work efficiently. For all this analysis, listening, reading, and writing, you'll need not only the test itself, but additional files like answer sheets with correct answers, transcripts of written audio, test papers, question booklets. You can download all these for free at topicguide.com. You'll be using this in days 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When you review your mistakes, translate passages, analyze patterns, and collect vocabulary and grammar. Bonus listening tip: yes, you can download the audio files from the website, but there is a way more convenient option. Just search Topic II 85 or any other test number on YouTube. This is so much easier. You can listen on your phone, pause anytime, repeat specific parts. No need to download anything manually. Day 3 and day 6, writing. On the 3rd and 6th days of the week, we'll focus entirely on writing 쓰기. This is the day for deep focused work. You'll be using the same mock test that you did on Monday and Thursday, but now you'll zoom in and analyze the writing section. Questions 51 to 54. Question 51 and 52 are short email or letter style texts where you need to insert the missing words. And here's what's important. There are no multiple choice options. You have to know what fits there based on your real understanding of the sentence. So start by translating the text. Make sure you understand the context. Then write down any unfamiliar words in context and highlight any grammar patterns that seem new or confusing. After that, compare your answer with the official key. Check if your version matches the correct one. If not, ask yourself, why didn't my answer work? What made the correct answer more appropriate? For example, maybe you used a regular verb form, but the context required a polite request or a formal tone. These little things matter, and analyzing them is where the real growth happens. Question 53 is the graph chart question. Here's your task. Translate everything shown in the graph or table. Try to understand what's going on. What trend is being shown. Write down key vocabulary that might be useful in your writing. Why is this important? Because a lot of these words repeat from test to test, especially category names and verbs like increase, decrease, remain the same. Then go watch a YouTube video that teaches you how to turn a chart into a short essay using templates. They'll often give you useful starter phrases like 이 그래프는 뭐뭐뭐를 이가 증가했다, 이거 감소했다. Once you learn the structure, you'll stop guessing and start writing with confidence. As for question 54, don't worry about writing a full essay just yet. I recommend starting like this. Translate the question, understand what the prompt is asking. It usually gives you a sequence, like first explain, then give your opinion. Try to write at least the first paragraph. Even that can give you a partial credit. Ideally, watch videos in your native language or in English, not just in Korean, so you can fully understand the strategy and structure, not just copy what the teacher is doing. And remember, question 51, 52, and 53 are a must. You should always answer them. As for 54, even an incomplete response is better than leaving it blank. These days, day 3 and day 6 are for deep focused work. You're not just writing, you're analyzing, learning from your mistakes and building your own approach. Now let's talk about those of you who are aiming for topic level 5 or 6. If you're targeting OU급, chances are you already have a solid base. You can read, write, you've got a decent vocabulary, and you understand spoken Korean well. So your study plan will still follow a similar structure, but with some important differences. The weekly structure stays the same. Day 1 and day 4, Monday and Thursday, full mock test. Day 2 and Day 5, Tuesday and Friday, in-depth analysis of listening and reading. Day 3 and Day 6, writing focus, especially question 53 and 54. Day 7 is rest day or passive listening day. So what changes in the strategy for higher levels? You now complete all 50 questions in listening and reading. Unlike in levels 3, 4, where it was okay to focus mostly on the first 30 questions. If you're aiming for level 5 or 6, you need to handle all 50 within the time limit. So I strongly recommend practicing under a timer, training fast reading, developing the skill of instantly understanding both the question and the text. 2. Writing. Focus on strong 54 essays. If you're going for 5, You must write solid answer for 54 questions. There is no way around it. You should train yourself to clearly understand what the question is asking. Identify any hints in the instructions. First explain, then give your opinion. For example, write complete essays. Aim for 3-4 full responses per week. I highly recommend watching videos made by native Korean speakers. It improves both your writing and listening skills. There are YouTube channels that teach you exactly how to approach question 54, how to build structure, what templates to use, and what expressions score better. I'll leave some links to those channels in this video's description. Try to choose videos that are clear, well-paced, ideally with subtitles, not the overly academic lectures made for Koreans. 3. Passive listening is essential. One more key point: passive listening. If you're preparing for level 5 or 6, you already have a decent foundation. So now it's time to sharpen your ears. Use every free moment to surround yourself with Korean podcasts, news, casual vlogs. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain will start catching familiar words, intonation, and natural speech rhythm. I can personally say that passive listening made a huge difference in my own comprehension. Final tip: don't be afraid of intense study. If your goal is to reach level 5 or 6 in just 2 months, it's absolutely possible. But only if you study every single day without skipping. And more importantly, you need to study not just a lot, but smart. Use writing template, practice fast and focused writing, listen to Korean daily, and always review vocabulary in context. I hope this study plan and these strategies were truly helpful for you. This plan is designed for 2 months of intense preparation, 6 days a week. Personally, I spend around 3 hours a day preparing for topic, but if you have the chance to study even more, 4 to 6 hours per day, your chances only get better. You'll have more time to refine your vocabulary, practice more full essays, and do deeper analysis of test questions. Also, don't forget about passive learning. Throughout the day, listen to Korean podcasts while commuting, watch Sigi tutorials on YouTube even in the background, review contextual vocabulary through apps like Quizlet, even while lying down or during short breaks. Even 15 minutes a day of smart review makes a big difference. Repetition is key. Every small step brings you closer to your target score. And finally, one last but very important tip. Make sure you learn the types of questions that appear on the topic, both in reading and listening. For example, in listening, there are often short dialogues followed by 2-3 questions. You need to learn how to catch the main point quickly. In reading, there are fill-in-the-blank grammar tasks, synonym replacement, and long passages with questions about meaning and structure. There are actual strategies for tackling these question types. How to eliminate 2 clearly wrong answer choices right away. How to identify which paragraph to a question is referring to. And how to start thinking in Korean while reading the exam text. YouTube has tons of helpful videos on this. I watched many of them outside of my structured schedule and they really helped. If you'd be interested, I can make a separate video where I break down all the common question type, strategies for solving each one, and where to find reliable resources for practice. Let me know in the comments if you'd like that. I'll definitely make it. Thank you so much for watching, and if this video was helpful, don't forget to like, and I'll see you in the next video.